everyone. This is Reema Roche again, and we have a very special person in the animation industry today. Welcome to Inspitory to all of you again. I have a little bit of summary, and I'll just tell you about who is with us as a surprise. I just wanted to say that this person is from our very own country, India, and he's from Hyderabad. He started with humble beginnings, like any other business people, and he worked on his own, no inheritance, any passing on of $1 million to him or to start any business or anything like that. He started off on his own. He started making his own applications, got rejections, but out of a lot of perseverance and a lot of challenges, and I got to know that his company, after beginning it, it also faced something like fire burnout, and still had to overcome all of these small challenges. However, what he did was he went to the US as a software engineer, but still perceived on his goal on being an animator. He came back to the country, India, and started again on his business at home. And today we see that Green Gold Animations, which is also the creator of a very favorite cartoon for a long time, Chhota Bheem series, and a lot of other cartoon characters that we see on our TV today. He's a creator. In fact, he has written personally about 8 scripts himself, and he does a lot of close monitoring within his company. And Green Gold Animation today has a net worth of over $30 million. It has a YouTube channel, 2 YouTube channels, and the initial channel, that is Green Gold Animations, has crossed 16.9 million subscribers. So as we speak, we might hit 17 million subscribers very soon. And we also have Green Gold Kids, another YouTube channel with over 4.7 million subscribers already and still growing. So even the kids are inspired and are constantly looking up to his channel and subscribing for the various series that Chhota Bheem has got to offer. So we welcome none other than Rajiv Chilaka from Hyderabad, India. Welcome, Rajiv.
Thank you so much, Reema.
So today we will talk about your life, your story, because I want to inspire people who can listen from this conversation. It's not a very formal interview as such. We will have a casual chat, and we will try to talk about how you began this whole journey and what inspired you to stick on to that goal at that young age. And you had an option. You were a software engineer. You had animation as a new choice in India because at that time it was not very popular. So tell us about your story. How did you start off?
Yeah, I think I was about 25 years old when I figured that software is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life, and I was very determined that I get into uh, either on the film side of things
Mhm.
or on the animation side of things. Then I realized that having a technical background of technology, software, and all, I felt I may be better suited for animation. So how I got there in the first place is the university I studied, University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Mhm.
So I went there in the US. I went there to study my master's in computer science.
Yeah.
While I was there, I was working in a library, and I learned that the university's logo was designed by Walt Disney himself, almost about 80 years from now, from then.
Yeah.
So there was this history that so Walt Disney, prior to going to Chicago and then to Hollywood, he lived in Kansas City. So on the
Mhm.
university, when they take us through the city tour and stuff, during the orientation, they showed us about where Walt Disney lived, where he
Mhm.
practice had a studio. So it kind of got me curious to know. I was thinking he lived here. That was really, it excited me. Then I read a book on the life of Walt Disney. I
Mhm.
was greatly inspired because what I felt that if he could do what he did in those days without access to money, finance, technology, and all those kind of things. What he did was phenomenal. I felt in my lifetime, I think I can, even if I achieve 10% of what he did,
He
or
did.
even
Yeah.
lesser, I would have still done a lot. So that
Yes.
was my starting point. And then I thought, okay, how do I get there is the next thing. Then I
Mm-hmm.
went to study at Academy of Arts San Francisco. In like, so like in year 2000, I went to study in Academy of Art in San Francisco. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
understand, before I jumped into it, I wanted to be sure if I like animation or not. So
Right.
usually I am a slacker. I used to pretend I was working in my previous companies and
Mm-hmm.
get away. But then when I started to do animation, I realized that I was working from 8 a.m. in the morning to 2 a.m. in the night, and I was not tired. I
Oh
wasn't getting
gosh.
tired, and I was ready for the next day right away. So this was something new for me because I'm
Yeah.
usually very lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't believe this is me. That's when I
Okay.
decided.
You
That's
found
when I
the
decided.
place that you are passionate about. Finally.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
till that time, I felt really worthless, to be honest. So at
Okay.
that moment, I felt, hey, this is something interesting, and let me go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and do it. And then that's when I realized that the industry in India is beginning,
Yeah.
and being, I mean, obviously, I'm an Indian citizen, so
Yes.
uh, living in the US, trying to find a job, it may take me a long time because I am. I wasn't ready for that. I said, let it's everybody in the. It was the time of .com and startup culture in the US
Right.
was
Mm-hmm.
at the peak. I felt in
Yeah.
India is someday going to get there. So let me come back to India and start green gold. So I came back to India.
Okay.
Obviously, my dad got a shock. He didn't want me coming back to India, but my
Yes.
mom supported me a lot. She said, "I think we should let him do because my elder brother, my sister, they were all settled,
Yeah.
and they also supported me. They felt like, okay, somebody has to take a risk. He's the right guy because I mean, he's got us to, if
Mm-hmm.
something goes wrong, we're always there for him. So there
Yeah.
was that kind of a family meeting and stuff. And then I started Green Gold way back in towards end of toward the beginning of 2001.
2001.
And
That's right.
then from there it slowly took off. The first 3 years were pure struggle. I mean, like there was I couldn't figure out. I mean, like India is a very different market. Even though I only
That's
lived in
right.
the US for 5 years prior to that, I realized that India is a very different market. I
Mm-hmm.
need to really understand the market before
Yeah.
doing anything. So it took me some time to
To
really
research.
uh, research, settle down.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning years, we like, even though the goal was to create IP and produce shows,
Mm-hmm.
there was only one kids channel in India back then, Cartoon Network.
Cartoon
And then
Network.
I think, yeah, and then 2002, I think Disney started in
Mm-hmm.
India. So there was really not much to do there because they were not looking for original programming for India. They were pretty
Right.
much trying to understand Indian market themselves,
That's right.
and so it was a very slow beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
but since they were new, we were new. It was very easy to meet everyone, and so we were able to meet with Disney and Cartoon Network pretty easily, and they were very friendly, and so that's how our basic journey started. So initially for us, it was all about surviving. So
Mm-hmm.
we took up whatever job that came our way, being a
Okay.
brochure design to website design or
Mm-hmm.
even shooting a corporate film. So
Yeah.
whatever work, we realized that if we have to stay long term, we have to at least, we have to, live today to fight tomorrow, that
That's
kind of a
right.
thing. So that was the
Yeah.
initial start, and it was pretty pretty tough phase. And
Mm-hmm.
then of course, by the time you build a team, the team leaves you for a bigger company.
That's
So that
true.
kind of
Yeah.
challenges were huge.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm sure that now people are leaving other companies to join us, which is probably, I feel bad for them, but I guess that's the way life is designed.
And that's how
And
people think, when they start looking for career, they always want to be a part of a bigger company. Very few I think in every phase of life, I see this. Very few people come to help you when you're in, in a real deep trouble and, in a pitfall. But when you emerge stronger, everyone wants to be part of you. I think it's not just in employment, it's even within families, within life, within, personal circumstances. I can't imagine, you said that when you came back from the US, your family kind of took it. I do understand from your dad's angle, because generally you feel that guilty feeling that when you want to go back because you love the country and you want to go back, you definitely think about what the community is going to tell you. You might look like a failure, that you couldn't make it when you went abroad, and probably you had a major loss, run out of money, and that's why you're back. And to start out from there is quite challenging. But inside, when you go out, when you see other people, you get that experience and you make your own personal goals. Only you can see clearly what's happening in your mind, and you have that goal to achieve. So that support that you had with your family, really good. But yeah, all employees will jump into green gold now. Because it's been really a full-fledged company, and everyone knows about the quality of work that you do.
Yeah, thank you. I think one more incident I want to mention. So,
Mhm.
like you talked about the fire. So we were earlier were a small studio. Basically we had a house, and then we moved. My dad moved into a bigger house. So he
Mhm.
said, "You want to use this house for your office
Yeah,
to start up?" Then I said, "Yeah." Then so I started in our old house was now made into converted into an office,
in office. Oh,
and so
wow.
we thought it will be a temporary office for one
Yeah.
year or so,
Mm-hmm.
but we ended up being in that office for almost 7 years.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
now the
Okay.
time was, so at that time we started to work on Chhota Bheem,
Okay.
and then the transition was happening. So now we had a couple of people who were investing into projects that
Mm-hmm.
we were working on, and so with some money coming regularly, so we decided to take a rent a five-story building
Mm-hmm.
with about 15,000 square feet,
Yeah.
which can seat up to 250 people.
Yeah.
Although at that time our current strength was 50 people, I felt that is what we should do as a next goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did that. And then we were going to inaugurate the office on April 1st. And
Okay.
on 26th, when the interiors, everything was ready. And
Mm-hmm.
on 26th of March, like that is about 4 days before the thing, there was some short circuit or something. And
Oh,
it was
okay.
Saturday night, midnight, and the whole office was burned down from first floor to second floor, third floor. Three floors were
Mm-hmm.
completely burnt, and
Mm-hmm.
fourth was partially. And first floor, ground floor was fine because the fire moved upstairs,
Yeah. Yeah. So was it a
upwards.
fault in the renovation that
No, it
was
was a brand new
undertaken?
building actually. It's a brand new
Okay.
building, and so there seemed to be some short circuit or something that happened.
Okay.
No idea what exactly happened, to be honest.
Yeah.
That some mystery remains a mystery. But so
Mm-hmm.
what happened was at that point I was totally shaken up. I felt like,
Yeah.
I mean, of all the challenges we had, we spent a lot of money, and that all that money was on debt. It was debt into the company.
Yeah.
But
Right.
whatever we bought, the interiors, the air conditioning,
Everything's
the
gone.
tables, the electrical cabling, everything was gone. Luckily, we
Were
didn't
you
have people
covered
in
with
the.
insurance?
No, sadly we didn't.
Oh gosh.
That was a big lesson.
Yeah.
So that was a big lesson for us. I mean,
Mm.
we just didn't think empty building, what would be the thing. So
Yeah.
we had a security guard, all that system in place. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
sadly it didn't. So what was the challenge? That was a big, huge challenge. And
Yes.
then I was figuring out now, how do I actually continue forward, or just end it and take up a job. So
Right.
I was that broken up
Yeah.
side. And then about 10 days later, 26th March, this happened. April 6th, Chhota Bheem goes on air. We've already delivered one season by then.
Mm-hmm.
And in like 2 weeks from then, the ratings come. And so by the end of that 1 month from the
Mm-hmm.
where the fire had happened, my
Yeah.
life just turned upside down. It looked like it was all over. And within a month, now we sign a contract for two more seasons with Pogo.
Pogo, yes.
Pogo is a channel with Turner at that point.
Yeah.
Cartoon
Yeah.
Network was the first channel. Second was
It was
Pogo.
Pogo. It just came, Pogo Network. It just started for the kids. Yeah,
It was
at
a
that
brand new
time.
channel.
Yes.
It was the last on the ratings. So this came, and then Turner decided to sign two new seasons, and then they came to know about the fire. They offered help. They
Mm-hmm.
supported us with giving some advances and stuff. So it took us
Okay.
almost 2 3 years for us to get out of the trouble that we got ourselves into. So we
Yeah.
had to do the interiors again, everything again, pay every vendor twice. So it was kind of costed us twice more than what it should have. But in the end,
Right.
it was a great lesson learned,
Yes.
and more
Mhm.
importantly, I think it was we fought it, and here we are. And then from that moment, that was the lowest point for us
Yeah,
in the company, and from that moment, it was no looking back.
that's
It just
right.
took off, and then so Green Gold went on to create so many hit shows.
Yeah.
And I mean, Chhota Bheem started like that, and then we made so many spin-offs. So there was
Mm-hmm.
the Mighty Raju, there was
Yes.
Super Bheem, there was
Mm-hmm.
Arjun the Prince of Bali. All these were born out of Bheem's franchise. And
Mm-hmm.
then most recently, in 2019, we made India's first kids original for Netflix called as Mighty Little Bheem. So Bheem is a baby
Yes, it
version
appeared
of.
on Netflix. Netflix, that's right. So, is that tied up with Pixar for anything, or no? It's just
Uh,
standalone in Netflix.
no, yeah, it's made by Green Gold, and
Okay.
it's by us, and then it has become now the number one preschool show on Netflix, and it is number two on Kids and Family. The only show that is ahead of us is Boss Baby of DreamWorks, and I think soon we will
Okay.
beat that show as well. And
Is that
let me
because of the Indian population?
I mean, very interestingly,
Yeah.
in India, it is not yet a hit. It is in India,
Oh,
the Netflix subscribers is very, very small in India as of now. You
okay.
won't believe,
Yes,
but
that's right. Mm.
subscription that we have,
Mm-hmm.
the likes we are getting is from South America, from Europe, and North America. So it is a
Okay.
huge hit. This is something that I don't know if you anyone. I mean, you have read Reed Hastings is the founder and CEO of
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. He's
Mm-hmm.
written autobiography. In that, he wrote three pages about Mighty Little Beam. You can imagine how important it's become, and how, I mean, it was a great example of a local content going global. And more
Wow.
importantly, I'll tell you one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this August 15, there was an announcement by UNESCO and
Yeah.
Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You know UNESCO that they've chosen Mighty Little Beam to represent India culturally across the globe. And over the next 1 year, they're going to use this character to promote Indian culture across the globe. So
Wow.
this was really touching for us that they've chosen, something that we created at India and Green Go,
Yes.
and
Mm.
it is now a global thing. I mean, even in I think in Australia also the show is doing very well. Mighty
Oh,
Little
yes.
Beam on Netflix.
We have a lot of Indians, and we
Yeah.
hope that more and more shows of, like, for example, I used to watch Star Plus, and some of the serials, of course, we didn't have the time in India actually, but here it's a nice lifestyle. So sometimes when I want to relax, I want to be able to remember those shows, and I want the children to continue the culture, correct? Because they're seeing two different sides of the world. They see their parents following the Indian culture at home, and outside they are all Australians. So we want to show them on TV and help with the language skills. And so we're hoping that more and more shows come on Netflix, because Netflix is very common here. And I'm surprised. I'm really amazed when you're saying. I forgot that Netflix is quite less used in India. I just thought that because of the Indian population, you might have more hits. But amazing.
I mean, I'm glad it is not that way. I would even be happy if
Yeah.
Indians keep watching it, it'll go even crazy. We talked about YouTube and stuff, and
Mhm.
Netflix has a junior YouTube channel, and that on that, Mighty Little Beam got 4 billion views in a span of
Yeah.
1 year. So again, for them, they've never seen anything like this. And again,
Yeah.
none of these are It's not Indian centric or India focus or anything of that
Yes.
sort.
Yes.
And like I said, the countries like Denmark, Brazil, these are the countries where, USA, Canada, everywhere it is worked well.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Indian kids watch, content from all over the world,
Yeah.
kids
Global
watch good
channels.
content wherever they are. That was always something I used to think. I mean,
Okay.
a kid in a remote village in India is able to watch a Western show or
Peppa Pig and
Japanese show and
yeah,
understand their culture and this thing. I used to think, why not a American kid
other
or a
people see.
European kid sitting in their countries in their homes watching our content?
Yeah.
And so it kind of we made that happen actually, and
Yeah.
thankful to the right platform that is
Yes.
Netflix. So again, you figure out how do you reach to them. Of course,
Yeah.
digitally, YouTube is one platform. You
Mm-hmm.
can take globally, everyone can watch you, but
Yeah.
same with Netflix again is one of
Netflix.
the
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'm so happy that on Netflix we have Chhota Bheem and the series. Do we also have? You had also created Krishna series, correct?
Yeah, so that was way
Yeah.
back in 2006 and 7. So that
Mm-hmm.
was a movie series
Mm-hmm.
which we did. So it was more mythological content. And after that, we had made Krishna Balram TV series.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then we did on mythology front. We after that we did Love Kush as well. And most recently, I mean, now we are after a long time, we are now doing Mahaganesh. So basically,
Yeah.
stories of Ganesha,
Yeah.
and that we're doing for a local Telugu OTT platform called as AHA Kids.
Mm-hmm.
AHA, the network is called AHA. So we're doing for them now. Like India has seen a lot of content produced internally from starting with historical mythological characters
Mm-hmm.
to original characters like Bhim and Mighty Raju and other shows like Motu Patlu, Rudra.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
have done very well, and so we have seen that variety of content being produced for that. And like I was saying, India is a large country, and
Yeah.
we have about 1.4 billion population, 900 million in the rural, 500 million in the cities. So we try to always understand, like, hey, what do we make, what content is made.
Mm-hmm.
For advertisers, the rural audience is not very important for them.
Yeah.
The metro audience is very
Very
important.
important.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, for digital subscribers, it doesn't matter. For digital
Mm-hmm.
thing, you can be
Mm-hmm.
anywhere watching. So I think India is basically, we just touched the tip of the iceberg, and there is so much content going to be produced in the future. And I'm very, very glad that we are ready to do more content.
Yeah.
For not I mean, like, for me always, what is important is trying to please the maximum number of kids with good content. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
where they are from world.
Yeah.
But if I have to choose between producing content for Germany or India, I would always choose India, because there's such, I mean, even if they pay more over there, I
Yeah.
would choose India because there we have so many kids. And I want Indian children to grow up thinking they're proud of their culture, they're proud of their country, they come, I mean, to whom they
Mm-hmm.
belong from. Because I've
Right.
seen
Right.
earlier generations growing up thinking, okay, India doesn't have superheroes, because that kid's mind is very disappointed when he knows that, oh, the Superman is from US, Spider-Man is from
Yes.
US,
Yeah.
and like kid is disappointed. I mean, he doesn't know, okay, we got independence in 1947, we're struggling our economy, blah blah. He doesn't know. He
No,
wants
that
to
that's
be
right.
believe that he's the best.
Yes,
So that's what the
absolutely.
goal of being is, make good content that we all feel proud, which has good morals also.
Hmm. That's right. So if, you spoke about the super characters, and that's so right when you think about characters. But two important things that came to my mind when I looked at the various characters. Are they, when you talk about the names, they're all religious names. I mean, I can't say religious names. I can say that the names of various gods also. How do you bifurcate content between religion and characters? Do you think that it's very challenging to not have a mix of both? How does it impact the viewers?
Yeah, see, when example the name of Bhim, when we use Bhim is a
Yeah.
character that is inspired by Bhim's from Mahabharata,
Yes,
but it's
that's
got nothing to do with that. It's like a normal kid being called Bhim,
okay.
and then so Chhota Bheem. Many people initially used to think it is a story of Bhim of Mahabharata, but it's nothing like that.
Yes, okay.
Uh, so so it is fictional. So when it is fictional content, we have freedom to do whatever we want to.
That's
But
right.
when it is religious content, like example, we're making Mahaganesha.
Hmm.
So we try to make everything as per
The
the
facts.
yeah, the facts or whatever we have written in books, and not deviate too much.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, example, like we can choose if somebody kicks Beam, the character, our Beam on the, kicks him, it is
Hmm.
okay because nobody's going to object. But
Yeah,
if a religious character is getting kicked by a bad guy,
yeah.
people will object.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
so we have to be very, very careful on the
Careful.
nuances of that because a lot of people's sentiments do get hurt.
Yeah.
So as long as you're telling the story in the right manner and you're elevating the storytelling, that is fine, and you're
Hmm.
not deviating from the facts. So we try to do that. So there's a research team when we produce such content.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
generally speaking, I would think uh, today's kids also need to know the our mythologies and
Yes. Scriptures and
historical things. And
yeah, yeah. How the background comes from, how did it should somewhere they should know how it all adds together and makes some sense with the different characters that we already have. That's a nice thing, but a tricky one, as you said. You have to do so much research and follow those sentiments and satisfy everyone, the viewers. So that's a good thing. I wanted to know about you specifically and your routine, because I know that you plan something and something else sometimes happens. There are uncontrollable factors. There are various risks involved. You have a mission to reach out to the crowd and the characters, but on the other side it's also a business, and now there's a lot of money involved. There are sponsors and so many things, stakeholders. So it's not a one-man show, and it's all to do for the country. So I just wanted to ask you, what is the most rewarding thing you've experienced personally in your life because of starting Green Gold Animations?
so it's a difficult thing to answer, but let me try and express it. I think, see, it's great when we get recognized, your content gets recognized. Like example, Chhota Bheem has become a household name in India. Anyone anyone and everyone knows what the character is. I mean, people have grown up discussing your Bheem, your Chutki, your Jaggu, those kind of things. So those people who have grown up now on that shows are now in their 20s. So it's in their DNA about the animation show. So which it's when I meet these guys, they talk about how their childhood became special due to this show. I really feel good. But on top of that, I think for me, I think the great happiness that I get is when I see kids enjoy. Like I saw once a 6-year-old girl in a huge in a huge store which sells everything practically, like a Walmart kind of store in India.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, she goes and she sees Chhota Bheem comics,
Hmm.
and she wanted to pick it up. And the mother was not okay with that. She said,
Okay.
"Listen, you can't even read. Why do you want to buy comics?"
Mm.
And the girl started crying and created all that tantrums.
Yes.
And the mother was insisting, "I'm not going to buy you
Okay.
the comic." And then I was like, I was right there watching, and it was
Okay.
touching moment. I wanted to like her to buy it. The mother was not okay with that, so I went ahead and I didn't want to offend them, so I said, I introduced myself. I said, I made this, do you mind if I buy the comic for your daughter?
Yeah.
And then she was embarrassed and she said,
Okay.
no. Okay, thank you. I will buy it. And she was trying to explain, like, listen, we just want our kids to do study and all. I said, I mean, I understand. You have, I mean, I understand totally. You can do your parenting. It's very fair.
Yeah.
I insisted on buying, but she didn't let me. But the girl was, once she got the book, she hugged it like this, and she didn't let go of the book for the next
Yeah.
15-20 minutes that I saw her in that store. So it was really touching moments like this, when like we sometimes get random calls from kids,
Yes.
and I tell that any such call comes to the reception, I tell them to
Mhm.
transfer, and they ask, so some small girls ask, some people say, can I want to uncle, I want to marry Beam. So, and she's probably four
Okay.
or five, and
They want to
I
be
don't.
chutki.
Yeah. So those kind of questions. Then they said, oh uncle, I want to go to Dholakpur. Where is Dholakpur? Can you tell?
Yeah, even I want to
So,
go to Dolakpur actually because I want to go to that deep inside, caves where you've got a lot of treasure.
so when these kind of things happen that people believe,
Yeah.
like one, my friend's son, my friend introduced me. He's the creator of Beam. So that kid came and asked me. He said, "Okay, I know you made it, the drawings and stuff, but how did you put heart inside? How did you make him breathe?" He's asking.
Wow.
So like I was really touched. So I was just first I didn't get the question, like, and
Hmm.
then I realized that he believes the character has a heart,
And
a
it's
mind, and
moving.
all. It was
Yeah.
really touching. So
Yeah.
like these, like so many of them make it special.
Yeah.
And like I have three kids at home,
Mm-hmm.
so so my wife sometimes tries to push them to watch Chhota Bheem. I say, don't do that. Let them naturally like it, not force it upon them. Uh,
Yeah. That's what
but
happens.
but
We take some of the things what we have too much for granted. So
exactly,
when you know that okay, it's their own father who's created Chota Beam, it's like a household thing. Let's watch something else. What's happening in some other cartoons and why is that?
yeah.
Um,
They watch other shows, so it's kind of
yeah,
so so they keep me grounded. So they keep me
that's
grounded, like
good.
not to think, okay, I still know that if I have not captured my house, that means I've done nothing.
These children teach us so much, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So, with the interest of time, I think we've covered so much already. I didn't have to ask you any questions, and really, you have already been such an inspiration talking about different things and your journey. Um, I wanted to ask you some rapid fire questions with just one single word answers, or so I will not judge you on anything. It's just for our viewers to have some fun about
I'll
you.
try. Yeah.
Okay. So, where is your happy place?
Playing sports.
Okay, on the sports grounds. Wow. What do you do to have fun?
uh, have a beer.
Okay. I thought sitting and watching Chota Bheem at home.
That's something I would not do because I watch every episode 4 or 5 times
Review.
before it.
Okay. And who inspires you and why?
I think I would say the senior citizens of India inspire me
Mhm.
a lot. When I see them, struggle, or like like I know like the previous generation in India, they went through a lot to give this generation and next generation what it is.
Yes.
And I think pretty much most of them really lived, had a tough life. So
Mhm.
it always touches me when I see senior people struggling, and that kind of thing always touches me.
Yeah, they had a very humble life. There were no phones, there wasn't any internet, and
I mean,
people would
it
just
is
look
not
up to
about
parents.
absolutely, but I realized then later that they had the most happiest life.
That's
So
true. And
I
we
mean, then I
connected,
don't know.
isn't it? When I was a
Yeah,
child, there was no phone. My mom would say, when it is dawn, just come home. If it is dark, just come home. And there was nothing like, you had to supervise the kids. We didn't have appointments. And we would have to go far away places. There were no landmarks. And people would say, under this tree, under that banyan tree, they would know the names of the trees and say, just meet me at so and so time, somewhere in the noon, and we would wait for each other for nearly 1 hour. I remember that I would stand after school, I would stand at the bus stand with a duck bag, which is about 10 to 15 kgs, starting from grade one. I would wait for the bus for nearly an hour. And we wouldn't have watches. We would just stand there and play some games with our hands or some name place animal thing or something like
yeah,
that.
true, true, true.
So yeah, that's true. We should not forget the seniors. That's our previous generation. How much they sacrificed for us, and
I think, yeah, they've laid the foundation for us, and but then I realized also they had a better childhood or better life than us. They're
happiness.
home by 5 p.m. I
Yeah.
mean, like I'm home by 9 p.m. Then like, thanks to the lockdown, I've given a lot of time to my family and kids and everything.
That's
Last
good.
one and
It
a half
worked
years,
good for you. Okay.
I would think so. Yes, it was a blessing in disguise. Of course, not for the ones who got affected by COVID and those kind of things. Those are
Yes.
tough things. But
Yeah.
I hope the world turns out to be a better place than what it was in the past, and
Yes.
we do
Absolutely.
a great thing. And for that, we were hugely dependent on the next new generation of kids. We hope they grow up in love, peace, and caring. What's
Yeah.
happening is like the Afghanistan or
Yeah.
other parts of the world in the past to
Hmm.
present. I think all these have been tough things for families or women and children in
Yes.
particular, even for
Yes.
men or senior citizens. So
Yeah.
I hope that we have a better life, all of us, ahead of us.
I think for me also it's been a blessing, because we have to get ready the Australian professional standards you have to follow in terms of our etiquettes of attire and be in the office on time. We're very dedicated in terms of the work hours, but it should be within, 7.5 hours, and we are back to our families. We have a good lifestyle. But what I'm saying is, with this lockdown, it's been a blessing for parents, especially with younger children, to be together and families to be able to, be doing too much. This even as we anticipate that people will be much more healthier when everything gets back to pre-COVID normal. So all the skins have started glowing, being at home, and we're trying to eat all healthy food. So we're making the much. We're taking benefit out of the situation, and
Absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, my wife didn't ask me to take her shopping for 3 months. That was great.
that was great. Yeah, that's such a blessing, really.
I
Yeah,
mean, uh,
and
just kidding. Yeah.
okay, and so many fast fire run questions we missed, and we started off with
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot.
long questions. So next question is, if you could snap your fingers and become an expert in something overnight, what could it be?
I think I would be like to be someone who can save lives.
Okay, okay, that's good. And
I mean,
what's
especially in this scenario, you see the COVID thing and all. I really felt
mm,
that. Yeah,
mm,
if I
mm.
save life, that would be a great thing.
That would be great. Yeah, that's right. And what is your secret talent apart from animations?
I personally believe I have no talent, to be honest. I think
Okay.
I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I know a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Uh, I think, to be honest, I know how to take the best out of people, understand their strengths, and work with them. I'm very easy to work with. I think that is my biggest talent, that I'm very easy to work with.
Okay. That's I think I should also try and be as approachable as possible, because the more people come to you, the better it is, isn't it? We try to avoid all the people when they come to us thinking, oh, what do they want from us? So yeah, that's a good secret talent I should also try out. Um, and what thing would you recommend everyone tries at least once in lifetime?
I think experimenting uh,
Mhm.
with their inner desires, like if somebody wants to, example, be a businessman, try it out, experiment it out.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I've seen a lot of people regret when they're in their 40s. Oh, I didn't do this,
Mhm.
whatever it is. But I think experimenting with your desire is very important.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, unfulfilled desires are not something great. So I would think that it's not really a one point answer, but I would think we should all do the right thing at the right age.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what is the best piece of advice you have received, and who was it from?
I think there are various phases of my life where I got various advices, which were all very, very, very relevant. I think there were two things I want to specifically highlight. One was when I graduated and I was comparing my GPA with all the top students. So
Mm,
my head of department, he told me, Rajiv, how many people in the world actually get a master's degree? from the
Yeah.
university in the US in computer science,
Mm.
and why are you actually depressed? I was a
Yeah.
little depressed that my GPA wasn't as good as my friends, and they all found a job I didn't found. They said first thing is that don't stop comparing yourself with anybody else. If you want to
Exactly.
compare, compare with yourself with people,
Yeah.
below you, or this thing.
Yeah.
I think that was very good advice. I think I
Yes.
realized that I'm stop comparing. That was one. The second was recently one of a very big businessman in India. I met him and I asked him for advice. He gave me an advice that to keep investing into technology. Like I asked him, how
Yeah.
do I take green
In
gold to the
business.
next
Yeah.
level? He said, people stop investing back into the business
Mm.
and don't stop that. Keep investing back and keep try to invest more in technology.
Yes.
And that was these two were one of the best advice I received in my lifetime so far.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that. I have also learned those things in my own career because I've worked with IT companies and I've seen that they do really well because they invest in their technology and digitally transform stuff so that people can be more enabled with tools and do spend their time on decision making and creativity. So with this, we end this interview. I thank you for your precious time in your busy schedule, and thank you for coming on board on Inspitory. If you have anything else to tell the viewers before we sign off for today, you can please.
uh, I really enjoyed talking to you, and it's been I'm glad that you're doing so well. I mean, I've known you for some 10 years now.
Yeah.
I look forward to chat with you one more time. And thank
Yes.
you everyone for watching. Please watch our shows on all the digital networks. Thank you.
Yeah. I also would like to recommend everyone, please watch Chhota Bheem, Mighty Raju. Watch the new
Mighty
campaign
Little
that's
Beam.
happening.
Yeah,
Sorry?
yeah. Mighty Little Beam as well on
Mighty
Netflix.
Little Beam on Netflix, and I urge all the people to go and subscribe into Green Gold Kids and Green Gold Animations on YouTube for more, especially during the lockdown, and learn more about the Indian culture through these spectacular characters that we have. It's coming on various languages, not just Hindi. You have English, you have Telugu, you have so many language series that you can watch there. So keep watching, have fun, and thank you once again, Rajiv. Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you so
chat
much.
offline. Yeah.
Thank you.